First of all, this is my last meeting, I'm resigning. I am moving to Appleton. In fact, I already live in Appleton, and I've sold my house here.
Really?
And that's it. I enjoyed being on this commission. I think we did all good work. I think all the employees do great work. It's a good bunch of people to be with. And I think the employees do exceptional work, and especially in some tough times when trees are falling and lines are down and water lines are breaking. You guys really come to the plate. So I think I'm sorry to say I do this because I was interested. I always wanted to see how utilities work, whether it was wastewater, water, or the electric utility, and I think I learned a lot. I didn't learn your secret handshake yet.
We don't have one.
But other than that, you just say that, you really do. But other than that, it's been a good time being here, and I enjoyed living in Wisconsin Rapids.
Oh, we're gonna miss you, Tom.
Yeah,
Thank
you. Yeah.
Because I was really proud and happy.
I'm still
to
in
be-
shock, I think.
to be
Yeah.
part of this
So
group.
what precipitated this?
My son does live in Appleton, and, sometimes you need a boost when you're 73. I'm not in good a shape as you, John, but I'm pretty good shape. And we just found a nice ranch home over there, and we're really moving to Greenville.
Okay,
So,
well, congratulations. Yeah.
thanks.
I only got another one to replace, so if anybody, if you have anybody in mind, let me know.
So,
The mayor is committed to wait until John, after this month, when we see what happens with John next week. So.
all righty. So, well, shall we call the order, and would we go through the approval or corrections of the special commission meeting held on August 10th?
I would move for approval.
Second.
All in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
And the next order of business, the regular commission meeting held on August 10th, 2022.
Motion to approve?
Okay.
And I'll second.
Oh, good.
Okay, all in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Action items, 2022 audit service.
So, last month I mentioned we went out on this online software Demand Star to try to solicit bids for audit services. We ended up, when we got the proposals in, 6 people downloaded our proposal, but only 2 chose to bid, which you have there, Clifton Larson Allen and Kerber Rose. You've got the amounts there in front of you. The thing that we kind of questioned a little bit was the fewer hours that Kerber Rose did quote for the audit. Clifton Larson, since they've been doing the audit for quite some time, have a good handle on how long that takes. A little surprised by the hours that Kerber Rose did quote on their total amount. And then with their other billing rates being a little bit higher, sometimes we do utilize their services with New Gadsby pronouncements or something that comes up. And with those higher rates, I guess with that, we're recommending kind of keeping Clifton Larson Allen. They do the city's audit also, so there's a little bit of efficiency there too.
Wouldn't it be quite a bit of problems for somebody else kind of jumping in? Or not really?
The first year would be a little more work to kind of get them up to speed and catch them up, and they would have to set up their audit program and everything, but after that it would be okay. And that's, again, too, why saying you're not gonna have additional hours that first year was kind of concerning a bit.
Yeah.
That number might inflate.
Yeah, how did you challenge them and say,
I reached out
what kind
to,
of a hat trick do you have here to cut, this is a third?
I reached out to both of them, just said, hey, check the hours, are the hours right? And, Kerber Rose did say that their managers are a little more involved, so they feel they're a little more efficient, but again, question at that level, because Clifton Larson, their manager, or their partner in charge, or the one that we've had, is very involved also, so to have 50 fewer hours in an audit was just a little concerning to me.
Do we know any of the utilities that are using them, Kerber Rose?
Kerber Rose, Manitowoc just went with them a couple, last year, I believe, and I believe Shawano is using Kerber Rose also.
So what would happen if they went over on these hours? Would they come back looking for more money?
Probably not the first year, but they'd probably come back, you know, the next year and say, oh, you know, we kind of missed on our number, so 2023, instead of being that number, we're gonna add, you know, $5,000, $10,000, whatever that difference might be, they could do that.
Do they, what did they use for a benchmark that would give them the idea they could do it for a third less?
They didn't divulge that at all. I mean, we sent them a copy of our audited financial statements, they got a copy of the trial balance and a copy of any audit adjustments that were made, so that's, I think, what they used to base their estimate on.
I'm assuming you've been very happy with the performance from Clifton Larson.
Yeah, they've been really good to work with. Since they've went from Shank to Clifton Larson, they're a little more national work that can be done, so there's a little more help from other areas and things that are nice to see.
I'll make a motion to approve Clifton Larson Allen for the audit services RFP.
I'll second that.
Do we have a second?
Yes, I'll second.
Oh,
Jay
Rivers.
Rivers. Yeah.
Rick Stetter.
Are there any other comments or questions? If not, all in agreement, please say yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. Okay, department update, safety committee meeting.
Will Sean be involved at all on the risk management side for the pipeline? Will he be checking that operation at all?
Not really, mostly contractors, our guys are just kind of facilitating it. All the work
Okay.
being done by contractors, so it's up to their safety crew.
Sure, okay.
You give them like an orientation and expectations?
I think Adam and Dale has met with them several times before they got started, yeah.
Any other comments? If not, the line superintendent report?
Josh, was that all squirrels?
Mostly, yeah.
They must be storing their nuts in transformers,
They get pretty active this time of year.
I guess.
I have a question outside the report, I guess for Josh, maybe a little bit. I was asked by another, actually the question was asked, you're gonna do some training, some online training, and the question was asked, are we and why aren't we doing more underground stuff? My answer was, I think we're doing some every year and budgeting and it's very expensive, so, was that?
That's correct.
Okay.
Correct. Plus, we can't get the materials now. But that was the reason, you can only do so much of it, or your rates get out of whack.
Well, yeah, and it came up in the.
Four times the cost, general.
Underground is?
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
roughly.
But isn't it less maintenance? There's no squirrel jumping in the,
It's still fed by overhead stuff, so
it's still,
ultimately everything's overhead.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it
is
still must
better, though.
reduce the risk.
Yep, it reduces the risk. Your outages there's not as many, but they're generally long when they are. It's real hard to troubleshoot.
Yeah. Is everybody, like up in that north area, First Avenue and behind there, that was all put underground or mostly put underground when the customers agreed with it? Is that pretty much trouble-free and complaint-free?
Up on First Street, you mean? Yeah, that's been pretty good. Yep, not bad at all.
Any other questions or comments? If not, the water department report.
You can thank Dale for putting back in the elevations.
Has it changed month to month? Looks reasonable, right?
Yeah, right. All the breaks,
Yeah, we're,
it seemed like a lot for summertime.
sure is.
Yeah, Adam talked to me about that. He said that a lot of all the breaks were in older infrastructure areas. So nothing new broke, it was all older water pipe.
Anything that would,
So,
yeah,
I know on one of the water breaks, they actually found a board wedged underneath the pipe where the break was, which, you know, accidentally got left there when it was installed. So that caused the vibration of the water pipe eventually hitting the board, caused that one of the breaks. So,
Seems like in this area too, it's the soil condition. Seems to be a major portion of it.
yeah, I would agree.
How's the mining project coming out? I see they started.
Good, they started last week, and I haven't heard of any issues, and they're gonna be here through what, like the end of October, I think, is when they wrap up, so they'll be here a while.
Yeah, so Adam again said they came last week, they started doing the fusing on Monday, and they'll start polling next Monday.
I guess the other thing is on that project, apparently the guys from the water department went up there door to door, and I had 2 people that are affected by this call and comment and thank that they did that. So,
Any other questions or comments?
is all the HDPE here now? Or we're just taking it in as it comes?
It's all here.
Okay.
And we have it stored by the wells.
How about the customer support supervisor report?
Had a glitch on 30 days, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately, there were a couple of commercial customers that were a little bit late and then paid early September, so it just, the numbers for August were a little bit higher. Should come back down in September.
60 and 90 looks perfect.
I'm still amazed at the number of disconnections.
Yeah.
So a lot going on in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, this results don't seem to come easy.
Exactly.
A lot of activity to make that happen.
Any other comments? Questions?
I saw some ads on, and I don't know where it was, but some ads for specifically targeted to veterans. If your water's being cut off, or your electricity's being cut off. So for veterans, is that like a sub-program of some other program, or is that a new program, or?
That one I don't know. I know I've seen some things on, I think public TV where they have the different programs that are available through the state that they're kind of doing more ads for those. So it might have been a part of that. Maybe there's additional funding for veterans specifically.
Okay, how about we shall go to the Director of Finance report.
So you mentioned the 2023 budget. What are you looking at here in terms of planning for that?
Hopefully, I mean, we try to hit early to mid-October, and we'll be able to meet those goals. As long as there's availability of commission to review.
Guys excited for our 3-hour meeting?
No.
That's pretty quick. No, but I'm taking a 2-week vacation in November, so I wonder if it was gonna be
We
before
usually
that.
take it to the city in November, so we try to get it out of the way in October. So
that irrigation revenue in July, is that, how seasonal is that? Is that abnormally high for its seasonal, or just seasonal?
That's pretty seasonal. I mean, last year was the first year, I think we had a July with the new rates, water rates, I think it went in 19, so 20 would have been there, but 20 was just different because of the pandemic, but 21 and then 22 have been higher because of that, but the revenue's been up.
Cash flow positive.
Yeah, it turned around, which is good to see.
You can see in that bar chart, purchase power expenses really picking up.
So Jim, is there any strategy to help control that?
It's affecting everybody right now. I mean, each control area, MISO and PJM and ERCOT, doesn't matter which one it is, they're all 20% higher than what the prices were last year, year over year. So, about the only thing we can, most of our stuff is under contract, but it's those IOU contracts where they're passing through, basically the cost of energy in those deals is just a pass-through from them to their customers, and those have gone up, so that's where the majority of the increase is. Now, I think in my report, I said we are working on a long-term deal with Dairyland. That should help mitigate some of that next year. I think we have a call Friday morning to get board approval on that so they can move forward and get it signed. So that should help a bit. It's a pretty good offer compared to what the market prices are right now. If you were to buy day ahead on myself. Buckle your seatbelts just like everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably haven't seen the last of this energy thing. There's all kinds of people who are trying to improve the amount of natural gas we can export from the US to Europe.
Yeah, they're worse than we are.
Yeah, with Russia shutting it off, so that's gonna drive natural gas prices up if those things all come to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, right now with gasoline dropping, that's the exact opposite of what natural gas is really high.
Right.
Even higher than what electricity is up. But electricity tracks the natural gas, so
Yeah.
generally it's gonna come a
It's
little
gonna come,
later.
yeah.
But aren't we, I was under the impression we're already shipping as much LNG that we can.
No, there's several organizations that are working to increase it.
And the big thing of, we can ship LNG, but like, isn't Germany hurt for a gasifier from?
Yeah, they're
They
actually,
don't have any yet, fully.
that construction is also underway, though, to be able to receive it, yeah.
That'll probably be completed in 2035 or so.
Yeah.
I think they really-
Underestimate German engineering.
Yeah, I am, but, I also, I think I underestimated their thought process.
Oh, they did,
Dealing
yeah.
with one Russia.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be looking for those rice engines.
True. But they won't have any gas power.
True, that's
Having Putin as a supplier has its risks.
Anything else, Jeff? If not, the information systems administrator?
Still Palo Alto?
For our firewall, yes. We're Cisco on the switching side.
Looks like you're at least trying to do what work you can until the material comes in.
Working on what I can, yeah.
Any other comments? If not, the conservation manager report.
Sean, that Collar LLC, are they where the old Boys and Girls Club?
That is correct.
It is,
On Baker
okay.
Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some great service to our customers.
Seems unusual to be running an electric fireplace in the summer.
And that, what that is an apartment that was a house
Yeah.
above that business. And so the tenant was doing it, I could see it on the low profile data that something was going on there in the evening for ambiance.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Maybe they weren't paying their own bill.
That's a good reminder for the National Theater for Children in the Schools coming up in October.
Yes, that will be that first week. We're running it during the Public Power Week. That's nationally recognized. Should be good to have them back after the pandemic because we had that delay in there.
Right.
And anyone that's interested, wants to attend, let me know. We can schedule something, or you can join me and maybe go into one of the schools.
Thank you.
Is a fox squirrel is just a squirrel, isn't it? It's a gray squirrel?
A much larger.
They're
Oh,
big,
it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
big and red.
Any other questions of Sean? If not, the electrical engineer's report.
Tyler, have you been at the Rockwell Automation Fair before?
Yeah, I've been to one time before this.
You sound excited to attend again.
Yeah.
That's a good sign, okay,
Yeah, it's great.
good.
Get lots of tchotchkes.
Any other questions of Tyler? If not, the Director of Engineering, Electric Operations report.
So the wind turbines in Wisconsin, where are they?
Probably, I don't know, Jim, you got a better answer for me? I don't even know.
Generally in high country, so I mean, there are a bunch of them between Madison and Waupun, I know. There's some down on the very southwestern part of the state. But there's not a whole lot of good opportunities for wind in Wisconsin. Kind of why Todd put in the, yeah, that's why ATC is saying that most of the good sites are already taken, so the focus is gonna shift to solar.
Some beautiful rolling farm country that looks like crap.
Exactly. Because you need 3 or 4 times more KW to tank to a buck in order to back up the grid.
Yeah. Do they give you any numbers on how efficiently that wind stuff is working?
No, they didn't provide anything like that. They're just basically saying that, you know, you need 3 to 4 times the installation to replace a conventional coal and LP generator type or nuclear. So it's gonna be large, whatever you use. And then part, you know, that from an engineering standpoint that I thought was interesting was when they were talking about California and the problems now that they're seeing and how they're gonna have to actually do regulations in order to protect the solar farms better so they don't trip up offline with just one lightning strike, that type of thing.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so that was very interesting to me. It was a very good meeting. I've attended that a couple times in the past and really enjoy it.
On a positive note, Blue is finally in the money on the wind farm. And we bought it mainly for renewable reasons to meet the requirements, but since, I think, September of last year, we've actually been making money selling it off in the MISO. Where before, we'd always take a couple dollar hit.
In Texas, don't they, actual generation, I thought was around 10% of capacity
For
in
solar,
Texas
for solar,
for wind.
for wind. That I don't know either.
I'm not sure.
I know Texas is kind of their own separate grid, and that's why they were having the problems they were having.
And it's windy in Texas, so I imagine there's quite a bit of wind turbines there. Haven't been there in a while.
There's a huge amount down by South Padre Island. And it's kind of ironic that, you know, California, what they're pushing for electric vehicles and then having everybody try to conserve between 4 and 9.
Just don't charge it, you can buy it.
And that lightning strike, so what damage does that actually cause?
Didn't cause any damage, but it actually knocked all of the solar fields offline. So
Okay.
all at once you get this huge loss of generation on your grid, and so now you're hoping that your other transmission lines are picking it up from other locations. So if it was designed properly, it probably would have just knocked out maybe one, not all of them in that, mile radius, so.
I'd rather learn from someone else's mistake.
Yes.
Any other comments, questions? If not, general manager report.
Can you talk a little bit about what's in front of the PSC? What is it that they're considering? Just the allowing of that investor?
Correct, it's never been allowed, so to speak, in the state of Wisconsin. There are a few states in the country that do allow third-party financing of solar. But it's very deceiving and misleading to the customer, because they can't figure all that stuff out, what's an efficient installation and what isn't. And our library in town is a good example of that.
Very surprising.
That contract's about to expire, though, isn't it? Are we getting close to the end of that?
There's one more year on that contract.
But I think it continues unless the city buys it out,
I
right?
think at that point, yeah, they have the opportunity to buy that array from the developer.
So all the testimony is due tomorrow in that case, so I've been reviewing that just before I came to the meeting, so.
Have you found any of the people for management of work?
We met in Madison last week. The committee of the board that was put together to choose who we are, and we interviewed 4 providers for both MISO services and the power supply related stuff, and IRP, long-term resource planning and all that. And we narrowed it down to 2, which would be the Energy Authority and ACES Power Marketing. One of them is the municipal arm, the Energy Authority is. It has owners which are joint action agencies, and ACES Power's owners are the electric cooperative G&Ts. And right now it's a dead heat, so we will have them fine tune their pricing, and then we expect them at the board meeting October 18th to do a full presentation to the board, both of them. So we'll see how that goes. Both of them are good outfits.
Good.
And they have the staff to do it now, or they'll have
ACES
to?
has 272 employees, and the Energy Authority has 240. so they have more than enough. They even have meteorologists on staff. Aces Power Marketing spends $20 million a year on computers alone and software to do forecasting and all that type of stuff.
Crypto mining.
We'll be taking a step up in available services when we go with.
Okay.
But they won't take over till July of next year because the MPU contract runs through the end of June. But they'll have everything ready to go when it's time.
Ballpark, more or less costly to us.
It's gonna be about the same, maybe a little more annually, but the quality of the services will be much, much better. Just because of the amount of expertise they have on staff and power supply related issues and generation.
And is it for how long a period of time?
That's undetermined yet. They won't do a deal that's under 2, they like to do them where they're 5 years. So that'll be a board decision at the time when we choose who it is.
If they do 5, do they fix price?
I think there's fixed pricing both on the MISO services, what they do for us, and all the power supply and ancillary related services. There's a annual fee, but there'll likely be an escalator each year.
Any other questions or comments? If not, let's move to the accounts payable review.
Self-explanatory bills, this one.
Yeah, good job. All those numbers line up. The other thing I saw, how come there's so few credit card charges over 200?
It was a quiet month for purchasing on credit cards.
If there is nothing to grill Jeff about, would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.